Congressman Elijah Cummings. He is not new to being understood as a leader in this community. He's a native of Baltimore. He represents the city. But he has been out on the streets every night trying to keep protests peaceful. And there has been a vacuum of leadership out on the streets. You've been there. Senator Pugh has been with you. Certain council members have been with you. But you have been the man in the center. And people are saying it has made a difference. Do you feel that?
I hope so, and I think so. I mean, when I look at that corner that we stand on, I have not seen anybody get arrested. I'm sure there have been a few. But over the last 3 or 4 days, the last 3 days, I don't think more than 5 or 6 people have been arrested on that corner.
So we have big boxes to check this morning. One, the curfew. Do you believe it should be shortened in duration? Should it end sooner?
Now, I think that I'm leaving that up to the mayor and the police commissioner.
People don't like it. It feels like a control mechanism. This is our home.
It does.
We're being good. Why are you punishing us?
Yeah, but we got to deal with safety first, and safety and security. And so I leave that up to them. They have to make those judgments, and we elected them to do that.
Now, you have told us and cautioned us, don't ignore the big issues just because of the sensation of moments that you catch on video.
Right.
Okay, big development. DOJ says it's going to put millions of dollars, maybe as much as 20, into body cameras for cops. How big an issue is that?
That is super big, and it's great. We need even more. But I'm glad to know that because I think policemen and our police departments need those cameras. I think it's a protection for the police and for the public, really. When they know that somebody's looking at what they're doing, it makes a difference. And the public will feel better. It's not going to solve all the problems, but it's going to make a difference.
Now, you had angry young men and women. Each night you're out there. They're coming at you. You see the look in their eyes, and they're saying, I don't buy it.
Right.
Unannounced stop. Now they're finding out. They're laying groundwork for a cover-up. They were telling me last night, oh, it was a bolt in a van. They're getting ready to excuse themselves, Elijah. That's what they were saying last night. What do you say in reply?
What I say to them is that the police have now turned over their report to the state's attorney. And Marilyn Mosby is a brilliant young prosecutor. I am so proud of her. And she lives in the neighborhood. She lives a few blocks from where I live. And she is a daughter of our community. And she will take the evidence, look at it, but you got to remember, she's got the full, if she looks at it and doesn't like it, she's got the full force of the federal government behind her. She can go to the FBI agents and say, look, I need more information on this, I need more information. And what I'm begging the public to do is let her do her job. Her integrity is impeccable, and we voted for her. And so I just believe that she'll make the right decision. But I want her, all the issues that we're talking about, the second stop that they didn't know about, all the things, she'll have a chance to actually put a high-powered microscope on all of that. And she may say, call the FBI and say, look, I need you to check this out or check that out. And so I feel very comfortable with that.
Let me ask you something. What do you know about whether or not Mosby's office has reached out the way you would hope, let's say, with the Gray family? Because you know that there's some criticism there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much.
Do you think they should?
I think that would surprise me. One thing I know about her, during her campaign, she talked about making sure that victims and her office would work together, and there would be, some kind of connection. I don't know. I don't know. I think she should, but I don't know the extent of what she's done. But I'm pretty sure that she's done some reaching out. But you got to remember, she's got a tough job. She really does. And there's no way to exaggerate how difficult it is, because what happens if at the end of the day she looks at the stack of paper like this and everybody's doing their investigations and she doesn't feel that she can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a very high standard, as we know, that this was done as homicide, intentional bad acts to Freddie Gray. Then what? Let me say, as far as I'm concerned, if Marilyn Mosby takes this case, takes the law and applies it to the facts, do the research and the investigation as thorough as she can, whatever judgment she comes up with, I will trust it, period. That's how much I believe in her.
And what do you think is going to happen when you take that back to the corner?
I'm going to have to explain it.
You will.
I will.
I'm not saying that you'll be wrong. I'm saying that it will not be acceptable to people who feel.
It may very well not be, but I've got to know, I know in my heart that if knowing her, whatever judgment she comes up with, I will accept it, period.
You have that much faith in her discretion?
I have that much faith. I have that much faith. I've been practicing law for 40 years, And I know these young lawyers, and I know the best. Her integrity, she's a member of my church, as a matter of fact, but her integrity is impeccable. And a pursuit of excellence. Keep in mind. And that's why the public has got to let her do her job. See, because if there are questions, the kind of questions that have been raised here this morning, we want her to be able to do that research, to bring in all the resources she can muster to get all of that and then make the judgment. And I trust her judgment.
I hear you.
Okay.
How do you separate the specific case of Freddie Gray from the metaphor value it is for these young men and women and older men and women in these communities where they say this is a symptom of the disease, Freddie Gray. The disease is the police culture. The disease is I don't have any options, so I wind up having to mix with the police. The disease that nobody wants to talk about, that they say feed into that winds up creating a Freddie Gray situation. How do you separate the two for them? Because they're putting pressure on what happens with Freddie Gray as recognition of all these bigger issues that they suffer from.
You know what? You can't separate them. You can't. Because it's all intertwined. It's all intertwined. When you don't have a job, when you don't feel that your education is what it should have been so that you could be the best that you can be, when you feel, like a fellow said to me yesterday, he said, Cummings, I love you, man. This is a 16-year-old. He said, but I feel like I'm in a coffin, clawing, trying to get out. When you feel that way, you know, all of it mixes together. And so you have people, you have the police incident, and by the way, I am very upset about all these leaks and everything, because I think that only hurts trust of the public. And then you've got the education issues, you've got a number of economic issues, jobs. By the way, I got to give a shout out to CVS. The first thing I did was call CVS and said, look, don't leave our community.
What'd they say?
They said, Cummings, we're going to see what we can do. The next thing I know, they kept 45 jobs, kept paying the 45 people there. So, I mean, so all of these things, jobs, education, economic opportunity, and by the way, the community is coming together. We've got, today, I'm meeting with members of the education community, our foundations, some corporates. People are calling me every day saying, we see the problem, now we need to make a difference. Now we've got to get the Congress to begin to move and to do more to help these kind of communities.
You think you deal with gangs here on the streets. It's nothing compared to what you have to deal with back in D.C. when it comes to moving gangs that don't want to work together. Let me ask you something. Do you have it in you? You've been in the game a long time. You've been saying to me over the last few days, this is the issue. This is the civil rights struggle for this generation.
No doubt about it.
They are looking to you in that community as a brother that they recognize as one of their own, but as a leader of someone they need to represent them. Do you have it in you to take on this fight as big as it is?
I have it on me to take on this fight. Let me tell you why. I'm in the twilight of my life. I'm in the evening. I want them to have a better morning. And I really mean that. So I had my chance. That little girl that said to us the other day, she said, look, I'm reading from a textbook from 1973. Every member of Congress should say, we will not have that. We're a better country than that. And so, yeah, I've got to fight. You know, this may be my last stand, but I'm going to give it everything I got until I die.
Well, we've seen you out there late at night. And don't go anywhere too soon.
No, not too soon.
You got a lot in you.
Not too soon.
I got you. You're singing, though, last night. You know.
Oh, yeah, I can sing now.
You know, that's one opinion on it, Congressman. That's one opinion. Well, good to have you. And good luck with the community. It's a real fight you're having.